And we are live. Welcome to Sports Scrutiny Live. We are back, guys. I'm BJ.
And I'm Rob.
And we are bringing to you, of course, the hottest news and talk in today's sports. So, if you've been following our social media, we are going in a whole nother direction. We're doing things a little bit differently. And you guys tell us if you can spot the differences, all right? um, we are supposed to be live tonight with UFC fighter Damian Brown. And Damian Brown, he lives in Brisbane, Australia. So we're 12 hours apart and we got our days mixed up. So we are going to be live with Damian Brown tomorrow night at 9:30. So make sure all you guys tune in tomorrow night, check us out, and give Damian Brown some ask him some questions because he's going to be live with us all the way from Australia. Ain't that
Oh
right,
yeah.
Rob?
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
We had a little bit of a, miscommunication, but that's all right.
It's all good. So let's jump right to it, man. We got some interesting topics tonight. So y'all definitely tell us what you think. First of all, I got a text. My cousin actually sent me a photo that was circulating on social media, and the
Oh yeah, what's
photo
that?
said, "Oh, you ready for this, Rob?
I'm
I don't
ready.
know if you're ready, man.
I think I'm ready. Hold on, let me get
This
my
photo,
seatbelt.
this photo says, first of all, hit the like button. All of you, hit the like button right now. I see you viewers in there. Hit the like button. Anyways, so, uh-oh. It says, who is your NFL MVP? As we all know, the regular season is coming to a close here in the next couple of weeks. So, MVPs. The choices are Tom Brady, okay, with 3,632 yards, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Okay. You got Tom Brady or you got Carson Wentz with 3,005 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And you have Russell Wilson with 3,256 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So the question is, who is the MVP for the 2017-2018 season? And go.
Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
Is the, why you think? You got to tell me why, man.
Easy. He's 40 years old and he's having one of the best years of his career, statistically speaking. It's like he's playing like he's 28 years old. He's um he's second in completion percentage. He's first in attempts. He's like third or fourth in yards per attempt. Um, he probably has the well, I mean, he's made the one of the best tight ends in the game. Um, he has a terrible defense, one of the worst defenses in the lower five. Like I think they're ranked. The last time I checked, they were ranked like 27 or 26 in the league, and they're still 10-2. So seeing that Tom Brady gets the ball every time, he has to constantly score, which he does. They're first in total offense, um, led by Tom Brady. They're first in passing offense, led by Tom Brady. He's first in quarterback rating. Uh, I mean, what else you want to say? It's not even really particularly close. Seeing
Ooh,
that, seeing
ooh.
that Russell Wilson is at 3,200. Carson Wentz, even though Carson Wentz has the most passing touchdowns of the three,
Yes, he does. I
he
was
of
about
the
to say that.
three of the three he still has 6 interceptions. Of Russell Wilson has 8, obviously, but um,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Carson Wentz only has 3,000 yards. and he doesn't have near as many attempts as Tom Brady. I mean, you can look at it. You can look at it two ways. You could say he doesn't have as many attempts. That's why he doesn't have the yards. Tom Brady has that many attempts. That's why he has all the yards. But Tom Brady's second in completion percentage only to Drew Brees, and Drew Brees has led the completion percentage probably the last 8 of the last decade years. Because I mean, he's like the most accurate quarterback there is so far in history. Um,
Well, we've got some.
I got
We've got some. No, go ahead, bro. Rob. My bad, man.
you can make an argument for Russell Wilson considering that they've lost so many elements to their game, and they were down. They lost games that they should have won, and he's honestly carrying the team. Without Russell Wilson, they would not be where they are. Without Tom Brady, would the Patriots be where they are? I don't think so because the defense
No,
is playing terrible this year. They have picked it up
exactly.
over the past few weeks, but not nearly enough. And then Carson Wentz, the Eagles team is playing phenomenal. If you put you could take Carson Wentz out of that element, and I'm pretty sure the Eagles would still be able to figure it out. I like Carson Wentz, but is he playing better than Tom Brady? No. Is he playing better than Russell Wilson? Maybe they're at about the same level this year, in my opinion. But Tom Brady right now,
Okay, so just to add on to what you said, our live chat is buzzing, man. Carson Wentz, Brian Blymiller says Carson Wentz is a sophomore quarterback playing like a seasoned vet, and I have to agree with that, Rob. I mean, I have to agree with Carson Wentz, man. Carson Wentz kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had a good season last year. He had some of his stats are actually better from last year. But I still think that as far as this season is concerned, that I would put Carson Wentz as probably the best quarterback
yeah,
this
but
season.
this is the most valuable player award. This isn't the most outstanding player or the most improved player award. Doesn't matter how old you are, you have to perform the best. You have to be the most valuable. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie out doing outstanding stuff. Like if, for instance, if Deshaun Watson maybe would be in the top three right now had he not hurt himself the way that he was playing. But unfortunately, I think he tore his ACL or his Achilles, or I don't remember. It was too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't
I think it
matter
was
if
his
you're
Achilles.
like Tom Brady, 40 years old. It doesn't matter if you're 40 or 23. You have to be putting up the numbers to be the most valuable player. It's just what it is. Like think about
But you
what
got to think about
Bait.
who's not playing. Think about who's not playing right now in the NFL.
Well,
I mean, you know, I
we
mean, you
lost a
got
lot of uh major elements this year. I mean, we lost David
I
Johnson
think so.
real
I think
early.
Russell
He
Wilson.
could have been the leading running back this year. Hell, we never know.
Yeah,
After that season last
agreed.
year, he might have been in the running for the MVP. We don't know. And then Aaron Rodgers went down. We don't know if
And
he would
that's the
be in
point I was trying to
contention.
make.
But of the three, Tom Brady is leagues above the other two currently.
Okay. And I can't make a usually Rob, you know, I love to argue with you, man. And usually I'll make an argument with you, but I can't argue with you choosing Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady is a fantastic player, but me, I'm an underdog type guy. I always pull for the underdog, and I have to give it to Carson Wentz. I respect that man's hustle. Um, you know, it that's just how I feel, man. I mean, he's improved. He's carried his team, you know, and they're impressive, man. I mean, you got to give credit where credit. Now, Russell Wilson, on the other hand, me, I don't think, you know, I think Russell Wilson is there because some other guys aren't there. But you know, Carson Wentz will definitely be my pick. Brian Bob Miller says, "What about Case Keenum?" Go ahead with that, Rob. Tell them what do you think about Case Keenum.
Case Keenum, I like Case Keenum, but the only thing about Case Keenum is
Hit the
he's
like
not
button.
he's not he's not doing as much. They're still winning, but it's like I don't know. It's not doing as much. He doesn't have. He's not up there in the yards. He's not up there in the completions. Yes, he is like second or third in quarterback rating, but he's just not that team's just not doing enough. You know what I mean? Like they're getting
Mhm.
by. Yes, they're winning, or they're 10-2, but of all the teams that are ten
So
and two, of all the teams that are 10-2, honestly, do you? I mean, are you gonna pick the Minnesota Vikings?
no, probably not.
No, you're not.
Nah, because they know the Minnesota Vikings. They sketchy, but I mean, Case Keenum. The thing with Case Keenum is, I just like Rob was saying, I'm gonna have to feed off Ryan, uh, Brian, but he just to me it's just like he does like the bare minimum. Like he he still has like I feel
No,
like
it's
he still
not.
has a
Sorry,
go ahead.
it's not him doing the bare minimum. It's just the team strategy doesn't need him to be as valuable. They don't need him to be
Like they
above
have
and
a good
beyond.
they have a good offensive line and so on and so forth. Like they have a good offense. So
I think okay, like within Tom Brady's situation, that defense is so bad. Had if Tom Brady had retired, do you really believe the Patriots with Garoppolo would be 10-2? No. I mean, Bill
definitely
Belichick
not.
is good, but had it having lost Julian Edelman, had Tom Brady retired, Julian Edelman would have still hurt himself. It would be Jimmy Garoppolo leading the Patriots, and you think that they would still be 10-2? No. The Eagles, coming off of I think they were 500 last season. Carson Wentz, I think they were like 500 last season. They already had all the elements for their season. They already had their game plan. They already knew what they were gonna do. I mean, they made a good trade season, getting a J. They got him, and they picked up who's our running back? Big guy. I keep forgetting his name. But they picked him up from the Patriots. Um, so they made good moves that they knew they needed. So it could have been anybody leading the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, and they still would be successful. You take Tom Brady away from the Patriots, they might not be 10-2. Would they still have a winning season? Yes.
Brian in the live chat says they might be 9-3.
Oh, I mean, they would still have a winning season. Bill Belichick doesn't have losing seasons, but
You talking
I
about
mean,
were you talking about LeGarrette Blount?
yeah, that's who it is. Picked him up. They made good
Man,
moves. The moves that they made were already in. They were already knew what they were gonna do last season I think they went 500. I don't remember, but that was Carson Wentz's rookie season. Like they knew what they were gonna do, basically. So
hmm
take Carson Wentz out of that picture and put anybody else in there that plays like him, that is that excuse me, that kind of quarterback. Uh, they would still be a winning team, 9-3, 10-2. And then
yeah.
Russell Wilson, he's always kind of been on the edge of the top three candidates for MVP. He's really good. He's small. He makes moves. He extends the play probably better than anybody in the NFL right now. Because he has to. Excuse me.
hmm
He's lost so many elements.
Valuable player.
Uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the Legion of
Oh yeah.
Boom is gone. They've been gone for a
hmm
while. I was really actually hoping to see uh back when Seattle played the Eagles, or not the Eagles, the Falcons. I was really hoping to see Julio Jones against man, I'm really forgetting names right now. Who who is
That's all
the
right, man.
who's the cornerback for the Seahawks?
The cornerback for the Seahawks.
Yeah, number 25. Ah, man, I can't think of his
Ooh,
name.
ooh, oh,
He used to run his mouth all the
bad
time.
for the,
I can't think.
I can't think of it
He
either,
just had
man.
he just had surgery last week, 2 weeks ago.
Richard Sherman.
Yeah, Richard Sherman. I was really looking forward to seeing Richard
Okay.
Sherman shut down Julio Jones, but he was injured.
He was injured.
He was injured.
He
He
won't, he won't be back this season. And but speaking of being injured, it's been reports, man, that we're supposed to be seeing the great return of Aaron Rodgers. You think he'll make it back in time to save his team?
well, a lot of things would have to happen for Green Bay to make it. The last time I checked, they were outside of the wild card.
Oh yeah, they're out.
But
They're outside of
but
it.
the NFC the NFC is dynamic. I mean, the NFC is so much more tough than the AFC. The AFC has just
Oh,
two really
oh,
strong teams. I mean, they got the Patriots, the Steelers. They're always there. Um, you know, but will he come back and do anything? I don't think he should come back.
yes, yes,
I
he
don't think he
will.
should come back.
Yes, he should.
I don't think he
Absolutely.
should come back.
Yes, he
If he
should. Yes, he should.
if he no, why? He's not going to
This
solve.
team,
There's nothing to save.
there's nothing to save.
There's the opportunity for them
Lost.
to have any success is
I've
so
lost all
small.
hope.
It's not.
I've lost all hope.
It's not about hope. It's just about reality. You got to think about
I
him in the
mean,
long term. Do you want him to win next year or no? What if he comes back and he's not fully healed? Then he's done. Collarbone broken
yeah,
again. Yeah.
I
What are you
know.
gonna do then? Oh,
I don't know, man.
I didn't want him to come back. Why'd you come back? That's what everybody's gonna be saying.
I mean,
Everybody's gonna
that's
turn
my
on Mike
team.
McCarthy then and say, "Why'd you start him? Why'd you bring him back?" And 2 weeks prior to them crying about that, they were begging for him to come back.
Yep. But you know, what's the filling quarterback for Brett Hundley? Brett
Yeah,
Hundley.
Huntley.
I mean, he pulled off. He's pulled off. I think. How many has he won with them? 2 games.
I don't know.
I think he
Maybe.
won 2 games with the
Yeah, the other
Packers. I
team
mean,
must have just like fell down.
no, actually, the last game they played this past week was pretty close, and that was a very good game. I think it went into overtime, if I'm not mistaken. I know a couple of games went into overtime, but that was actually an impressive win and a good game by Brett. I mean, he had a little stumbles here and there, but he played a good game. Um, it's being outside the wild card. I don't know where that puts them. I mean, they would absolutely have to. I mean, what would they have to do? Win every game from here on out?
I think they would have to win every game, and then some teams would have to lose.
Yeah,
I think who
and
would
I do
be in
agree
the?
with
I
that.
think the Panthers would have to lose some games because Carolina is 8-4, and the Saints are 8-4. I think. No, the Saints are 9-3. So the Saints would win their division, and then obviously Carolina would be the wild card, and then Atlanta is still fighting up there at 7-5. Green Bay is 6-6. So in Detroit is 6-6. So they'd have to worry about that. I think they play Detroit again before the season's up. So if Detroit beats them, then it's game over. Detroit would get the spot if that was the
Mm-hmm.
case.
Uh, Dan Christian in our live chat said, "Where did Hundley play in college?" Hundley played at UCLA, school at UCLA.
Glad you knew that
Um,
because I didn't.
I only knew that because I did a little research on him, but I don't watch college football. So I mean, I work with Dan. Dan, I'm not getting into college football, so don't ask me about college
I
football.
watch I watch a little
We
bit
are
of college football.
anti college football.
I've been you're anti college football, but I only watch it when it gets down to the important stuff.
Nitty
Like
gritty.
if we if we want to talk about something, people make arguments about um the whole playoff picture and Alabama getting the vote in and Ohio State not getting the vote in. But here's the thing: Ohio State lost by 30 points to an unranked team. You can't come back from that. You can't. That's like everybody, it's like being in high school and everybody having an assembly at the gym and you just going to the center of the court and just mooning everybody. Like
showing
you can't come back
showing
from
them
that.
ass cheeks.
You can't come back from that. And if you want to really get down to it, all you if
Yeah,
anybody's an Ohio State fan, last year Penn State didn't get voted in when they should have, but Ohio State did because Penn State lost by 30 points. So if you really want to get down to it, don't be hypocrites. Accept your loss, accept your defeat. Alabama got the correct.
we see. Okay, let's see. Dan's. I mean, I would talk with you on this college stuff. I don't have no idea what college. Um, Dan Christian says, "Why is it obvious Carolina will be a wild card? Could you explain on that?"
Well, it's obvious because, well, let's see. Because if you look at the NFC, obviously the Eagles are 10-2, and then next is the Dallas Cowboys are 6-6. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings, which is 10-2. So whoever's winning their division is automatically in the playoff. Now, right now, if we started the playoffs, the wild card in the NFC would be the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks because they are both 8-4. So there's no other teams better than. So basically, it would probably be. I assume the Philadelphia Eagles would take the first spot. Um, Minnesota Vikings would probably take number two. It'd be tough between the Rams and the Saints, who would get 3 and 4. But no matter who it would be, Carolina Panthers or Seattle Seahawks would get the you know the 7 and 8 spots. Or wait, one, two, three,
Okay,
four,
does that
five,
answer?
six. Yeah, that's the 6 spots. But
Do you
the reason Green Bay still might have a chance, they would have to win everything. Detroit would have to lose. Carolina Panthers would have to lose. The Falcons would have to lose. The Falcons would have to lose at least 2 of the remaining games. The Carolina Panthers would have to lose all their games.
and
Seattle
that's probably not going to
Seahawks,
happen.
the Seattle Seahawks would have to lose at least 2 of their games. If and Green Bay can't lose, they could probably lose one time and go 9-7, maybe, and still make the playoff. But I really and Dallas couldn't win a game because they're 6-6. Detroit would have to lose
Hmm.
everything so Green Bay can take the number 2 spot in the North. But ultimately, there's too many things that would have to happen. Too many teams would have to lose. Too many teams would have to tie.
Have to win, yeah, and have to tie. That's exactly right. But I think maybe Aaron Rodgers should just call it what it
Honestly,
is.
he shouldn't rush anything.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He should just call it what it is. Take the L this season, sit out, recover, get better, and
So
then
basically, right now, if the playoffs started in the NFC, Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles would get a first week bye week, and then it would probably be New Orleans versus either the Seattle Seahawks or the Carolina Panthers, and then the Rams versus either the Seattle Seahawks or the Carolina Panthers. And then the winner of those games would then go on the next week to face either Minnesota Vikings or the Philadelphia Eagles. So too many elements would have to happen right now for over the next few weeks for Green Bay to play off.
have
Like
to
I said,
line up.
they're tied. Excuse me, they're tied with Detroit right now, which is
Hmm.
not looking good for them because in the division right now, Detroit is 3-1 and the Green Bay Packers are two and
Hmm.
two, which they would automatically give the win to the Detroit Tigers or Lions. Why did I say Tigers? Oh, that's baseball.
Wrong sport, Rob. Wrong sport, man.
But
But
that's the NFC, and then in the AFC,
oh,
the AFC. Oh yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a good team. Best best rushing team, best rushing offense, best defense. I really hope the Jaguars make the playoffs because I think that they're going to take it all, almost all. They're going to go to the AFC Championship. But if you were going to say anything, obviously the Steelers and the Patriots get the first week bye week. Both of them are 10-2, and then
Do you think the Bills will get in? The Bills or the Jets?
the Jets no, and the Bills is the same situation as Green Bay because the Baltimore Ravens are 7-5, the Bills are 6-6, so ultimate and the Chargers and Oakland Raiders are both 6-6. And seeing that the Bills are
Raiders are
one and
six
one
and six.
and the Bills are 1-2 in their division, so they're automatically unless if okay, so if Oakland and the Chargers would have to lose one more division game, and then the Bills couldn't lose a division game, and then they would have to win
Mm-hmm.
4 out of the next remaining games, 3 out of the next 4 games, and, and then the Chargers and the Raiders could only win 2 games. But as it sits right now, it would be the Patriots and the Steelers getting a bye week. It would probably be, man, the AFC sucks.
What about the Browns, man? The Browns can make it in.
Browns couldn't make it in if they sold their team. They haven't won a game in like 2 years. I don't even know what they're doing over there.
I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry, dog. I don't want to laugh at the Browns, y'all. I'm sorry,
I don't
but
even
the
know. The
Browns.
first week would really come down because we haven't finished all the division games, so it's hard to figure it out right now.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say we got a couple
But
more weeks.
I'd probably the Chiefs would win their division because of their division record. They only have one loss in their division, and all the other teams have 2 losses. So they would win their division. So they would get the bid into the playoffs. The Titans would get a bid into the playoffs because they have more division. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars only 3 wins, but both teams only have one loss.
I got a
So
question. We got a
the ten,
question for you, Rob. We got a new question in the live chat. It says, and Dan Christian says, in fantasy, would you bench Case Keenum as the 3 best fantasy quarterbacks in the last 6 games?
bench him.
It says in fantasy football, would you bench Case Keenum as the 3 best fantasy quarterbacks in the last 6 games?
It depends who the alternative is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It depends on who you're talking about putting in, Dan. You know. Oh, excuse me. He meant to say, in fantasy, would you bench Case Keenum as the 3rd best fantasy quarterback in the last 6 games? So pretty much what he's saying is, with Case Keenum being the 3rd best quarterback in the last 6 games, would you bench him in fantasy?
Uh,
I probably wouldn't. I have Carson Wentz is my main quarterback. So I mean, and my next quarterback is Eli Manning. So if I had a choice between, it depending on who they were playing,
they're playing against the Panthers.
then no, I wouldn't bench Case Keenum. Then
Hold on a second.
I wouldn't bench Case Keenum going up against the Panthers. No, 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 no.
I can give you a better answer in a second. But
So
basically,
what?
said I can give you a better answer in a second. But basically,
Oh,
Case Keenum, he he's really he's a good pick, except um, I wasn't aware that he was the third best quarterback.
that's what Dano says. The 3rd best quarterback in the 3rd best fantasy quarterback. Excuse
Oh
me,
yeah,
the 3rd best fantasy quarterback in the last 6 games. Not
yeah, yeah. I know what he's
regular
talking
quarterback.
about.
Dano's real big into they're real big into fantasy, man. Like, huge in fantasy. Like, these guys love fantasy football. Like, more than I've ever seen anybody love fantasy football before.
Right.
But guys, look, I see y'all watching. I appreciate the live chat, guys. Make sure all of you guys come back tomorrow night, tomorrow night we are going to be live with Damian Brown. We got our days mixed up. There's a 12-hour or so difference between us and Brisbane, Australia. So most definitely do not forget to tune in live with us again
Who
uh, on Sports
alternatives
Screen
do you
Live.
have, basically? What's the alternative that you have for
For
your
what?
quarterback?
You talking about in the live chat, Dano?
Yeah, what alternative do you have?
It's okay, Brian Bob Miller. We're getting to MMA. I promise. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Um, yeah, Dano, let us know who would be a good replay. Who's the backup? Who else do you have on your team? We don't know who you have on your team. It just depends on who you're watching. I mean, who you got on your lineup and who you're playing. So just let us know. In the live chat who's your backup quarterbacks. But guys, hit that like button. Only one person has hit the like button. We need everybody to hit the like button. Show us some love, guys. Help us out. Um, the thumbs up button right below the video. Go ahead and hit that. Go ahead and hit that. I want to see him go up. Is that all? What you got? What you got, Rob?
Well, my whole thing is Case Keenum. He's definitely one of the most efficient quarterbacks,
His
but
oh okay. His backup QB is Genoa Smith.
oh yeah, start Case Keenum. Ain't no reason to start Geno Smith. Ain't nothing
Start Case
going on
Keenum.
there. He ain't gonna start no more games because they fired the coach and the GM. So Eli Manning is definitely gonna start over Geno Smith. Um, See, a while back in my fantasy,
I
I picked
always I
up
always mess his name. I always mess his fuck his name up.
a while back. I picked up Jared Goff. He was available still in our fantasy, and I've been riding him for a while. And then last week I started Alex Smith. Alex Smith blew up. He went off. And but if I was gonna pick any of the two quarterbacks or any of the quarterbacks,
he said it's a joke. Uh, his backup quarterback. I don't know how to say his name. Last name Taylor, Garage Taylor. I
yeah,
don't know how to say his name.
I didn't even know that he was still playing. I thought that dude had
The
retired.
like button is the thumbs up button right there, Dano, right below the video. It's a little thumbs up. So just go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It's on one of the side. I think it's on this side right there. But what were you saying, Rob? My bad, man. I'm sorry.
I was saying,
Tyrod Taylor.
yeah.
I'm about to say, who in the world is Gyros Taylor? Tyrod Taylor is what he meant to say.
Well, who do the Bills play? Uh, let's see. Oh, the Bills play Indianapolis. Oh, that would be tough. Case Keenum plays against Panthers. Tyrod Taylor plays against the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm straight up with you, Dano. We had to wing that one because we didn't know who the hell you were talking about. So we had to wing that one. But Tyrod Taylor,
I would go with Taylor if it was my team.
I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a choice. That's a risk that you have to be willing to take, Dano. All right.
But
We don't
anyways,
see no thumbs
we're
up.
gonna
No more thumbs up.
I wanna move on to uh the games that are gonna be happening Sunday. Which game do you think is gonna be the most exciting?
The game that I think. Let me look at the games. Let me see.
Because we got
What week are we on?
uh, I, I don't know, 13, 14. I don't know. But
Let me see.
There's a couple games that I'm looking at that I think will be really good to watch. Like we have Arizona at the Tennessee Titans, Arizona Cardinals, or the Tennessee Titans at Arizona Cardinals. I think that's going to be fun to watch. And then we have the Seahawks, Jacksonville. That's
Jacksonville
I'm not gonna
Jaguars.
miss that game because I like watching the Jacksonville Jaguars, the best rushing offense and the best defense in the game right now. And then everybody's talking about Philadelphia and the Los
The
Angeles
Rams.
Rams.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
everybody's talking about that. I mean, this week is a
Ooh.
lot of really good games. We got New Orleans
Now the
Saints at Atlanta Falcons. We got Minnesota at Carolina Panthers. We got
Ravens and the
Oakland.
Steelers.
Yeah, we got Oakland at Kansas City. That's gonna be good to watch. We got Tennessee at Arizona. We got Washington at the LA Chargers. Seattle in Jacksonville. Philly in the Rams house. We got
Hmm.
the Baltimore Ravens in Pittsburgh. And
Pittsburgh
then
is going. Steelers are going to mop the Ravens. They are going to clean house with the Ravens, and they're at home too.
no, I don't think
Whew!
so. I think it's
You
gonna
be a
be
Ravens fan.
nah, it's not gonna be that bad. It's gonna be close like the Bengals game.
Whew, I don't think so, man. I'm sorry, bro. I don't. I
I'm
don't see
telling you,
that
if
being
you
close.
oh yeah, if they struggled against Cincinnati, they're gonna struggle against the Baltimore Ravens.
Man, our live chat is buzzing right now, man. Our live chat is buzzing. I think this is the most activity in the live chat that I think I've seen since we've
All right,
had the
well, don't
show.
keep it all to yourself, man. What's going on?
Brian Bob Miller, I work with him. This guy is insane. He is killing the live chat. Keep it going, Brian, man. We appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. But I think the one game I wanted to point out was the Eagles and the Rams.
Yeah, that's the one everybody's talking about.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one, man. That's gonna be a good one.
I
Um,
think the Rams are gonna beat them.
you think the Rams will pull off the upset?
Oh yeah, both teams are gonna walk away 10-3. And then I think Pittsburgh's gonna beat Baltimore. They're gonna walk. They're gonna go up to the 11-2, but it's not gonna be easy. And then New England, New England is gonna beat Miami in Miami. That's gonna be easy. So the Pittsburgh Steelers and the uh, New England Patriots are still gonna remain number one and number two, tied for first place. But the
Because you
LA,
think the Packers can beat the Browns?
no,
I can't believe I'm laughing at my own boys. Oh,
no, they're gonna beat the Browns. The Browns are really they're dysfunctional.
I
They're
hope so.
dysfunctional. They're dysfunctional. But I think if we're gonna talk about upsets this week, Philadelphia losing to the Rams is not an upset. People may think it's an upset, but it's not. Even though Philadelphia has a better record, it's not an upset. The LA Rams have a more dynamic offense. The defenses are about the same, in my opinion. But if we're going to talk about an upset, we need to talk about Carolina and Minnesota,
Mm, okay.
and then we got to talk
You think?
about New Orleans and the Atlanta Falcons. I think in Atlanta the Falcons will beat the New Orleans Saints. The Atlanta Falcons will be 8-5, and the Saints will be 9-4. And then in
Mm,
Carolina, I think Minnesota will lose their third game, and they will move to 10-3.
I would say Minnesota was going to lose that one too. And Minnesota, I'm sorry, Dad. I love you, pops, but I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can do it on Carolina's territory, man. Carolina Panthers have a tremendous home field advantage, and I think home field advantage is a true thing. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I think that's why
Well,
when they played
it's not.
the
It's
Super
not
Bowl
it,
at a
with the Carolina Panthers. It's not so much a home field thing because they've lost twice at home. So
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
it's not about a home. It's just about the point of the season that they're in. Like the Minnesota Vikings are on an 8-game win streak, and the Carolina Panthers are just
Hmm.
coming off a loss.
Yep.
So it's really debatable. I mean, are they going to continue to win? They haven't felt a loss, so they're kind of. It's like they're in a rhythm, and rhythms often, don't continue, especially with teams that aren't like 100% solid. Like the Minnesota Vikings, they've got a oiled machine, but is it a machine that'll last the whole season? I don't think so. Are they going to
Mm-mm.
make the playoffs and they might win? They might win a game in the playoffs. Yes, I mean depending on
Hmm.
what position
I
that they're in.
agree. I
But
agree.
are they going to win the remainder of the games? I don't think so. And then the Panthers coming
I
off of
hope the
a
Panthers. I
coming off
hope the
of a
Panthers.
loss. That was just their first loss in the last 5 games. So they're like 4-1 in the last 5 games. So like losing after just coming off of winning, it wakes you up. You know, it makes you reevaluate your game plan.
But I think I agree with you, Brian. That is a good question. Can the Panthers do anything postseason? And I was getting ready to talk about that. The Panthers have a tendency to choke. Like when they get like almost there, they have the tendency to fucking choke. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've seen that fucking terrible the Super Bowl choke. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw that. Do you think that the Panthers will be in a different mindset if they make it postseason? I don't see the Panthers making it to the Super Bowl, but what do you think about these postseason games with the Panthers if they make we'll still probably make it there. Do you think that the Panthers will do well in the postseason?
All right, well, the Falcons, even though they're coming off of a loss, you can't count them out. They still have a lot of threats on their team, and even though Matt Ryan is, in my opinion, one of the most overrated quarterbacks, he's pretty good. I mean, so I mean you have to look at the remainder of their schedules. Uh, Basically, we'll have to see if the Falcons can beat the Saints, then the Carolina Panthers must win this week. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Falcons will beat the Saints, which will open up windows for that whole division.
Right. Right.
Excuse me. But if the Falcons do beat the Saints, the Panthers, it's a must win. It is a must win because if the Carolina Panthers are going to be tied with the Falcons, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth over the next 4 weeks, they're going to lose that
Mm-hmm.
battle. They are going to lose that battle.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
They are going to lose that battle. But
Well, I don't know.
it's
We just have to see how it plays out. There's a few weeks of this left, y'all. We're gonna be on top of it. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it live. So with us, guys, and we'll be answering a lot of the questions that you guys and that we're asking. We're gonna be answering these questions. So just stick with us. Well, Rob, how about we move on to some MMA topics?
yeah, we can do that.
We can do that. We can do that. So there's been a lot of stuff going on lately here in the MMA world um, that I just kind of want to refresh you guys on. So we've had a couple events go on. Once again, guys, it sucks so bad we don't have Damien on tonight. But like I said, guys, stay live with us tomorrow night, right back here, right where you are right now at 9:30. We'll be live with Damien Brown. So don't miss out. We definitely need your questions. The way you guys are utilizing this live chat right now, please do that for us tomorrow. We need it. We got Damian Brown on here. He's an up and coming star in the lightweight division. Roll with it. But anyways, let's move on to what's been going on lately. We had the Ultimate Fighter finale happen, which it was supposed to have been Nico Montano versus Sajara Eubanks for the inaugural featherweight title. But Sajara Eubanks has some she had some health issues coming off the show, so she wasn't able to. They didn't clear her to fight, so she fought MMA veteran Roxanne Modafferi, and she won. So she's like the first Native American champion in the UFC, which is good. I mean, it's she was the I think she may have been dead last in the rankings on the Ultimate Fighter, and she ended up winning the competition, even with a switch of opponents. Ended up winning the
Yeah,
competition,
that's
which is
probably what
great.
boosted her. She probably was
Oh yeah,
mad.
most definitely. She was ready for Sajara Eubanks was also a heavy underdog in the competition, and she made it to the finale too. But I'm pretty sure we'll see a title shot with her coming up here soon. But
Everybody gets a
anyways,
title shot.
oh yeah. But moving on, we had some really good fights that fight card as well. We've seen some of the girls from the show fight. In particular, I want to point out Jillian Robertson. She lost her first fight in the house in the Ultimate Fighter house. So she, I mean, like I told you guys, I like to pull for the underdogs. I'm an underdog type of guy, and I've seen a lot of underdogs come out with the
You're
win.
also
So
a often wrong kind of guy. But you know what? That's another. We'll talk about that another day.
we'll talk about that another day, Rob. You calling me out? I see you. Yeah, I see you. But anyways, like I was saying, guys, I seen her lose in the house, and it was like that was one of my favorites, But she came out on the show in her first fight in the UFC, which they let the girls that compete on the show fight. They have to build this division. Man, she pulled off one of the slickest arm bars that I've ever seen. It was very reminiscent of Ronda Rousey. Like
I knew you were gonna say
it
that.
was it was. I mean, I'm telling you, man, you're gonna have to go back and watch it. That was probably the slickest armbar I've ever seen in my life. No, 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 no. The slickest armbar was Demetrius Johnson versus Ray. Was it Ray Borg? Ray Borg. That was the slickest armbar I've ever seen. But anyways, Jillian Robinson pulled off a very impressive armbar. She has to work on her striking a little bit. Her striking's a little lackluster, but um, she's we got my eye on Jillian Robinson.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But anyways, moving on, we had UFC 218 was insane. Okay, um, you had the title fight with Max Holloway, Jose Aldo 2, and then you also had Francis Ngannou in the heavyweight bout versus Alistair Overeem for a title shot against the champion Stipe Miocic. So these two, I mean, Rob, tell me, am I crazy, man? But Francis Ngannou is an absolute beast. He's a beast. He's 6'5", like 260 pounds, man. Would you step in the cage with somebody that big?
How much you paying me?
Six, you gonna have to pay me if you gonna have to pay me a couple commas, man. You gonna pay me some commas to get in there with somebody like that. He knocked UFC veteran and the former the former Strike Force heavyweight champion Alistair Overeem knocked him out. And I thought, even though I know Francis Ngannou has been blazing this heavyweight division. I
I
mean,
would.
heavyweight division
I'd fight him
probably
for
the most
500 grand untaxed.
now untaxed, yes, yes. With a training camp, yes. Somebody teach me
Nah,
how to
I'll do it
fight,
tomorrow.
then I'm
I'll do it
you
tonight. I'll
crazy.
do it tomorrow.
No, 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 because you're
I'll
gonna
do
get
it
paid
tomorrow.
more if you win.
I'll do it tomorrow. 500 grand untaxed. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it right now.
I don't want a broken face. I'd like to at least get the win, man. You ain't gonna try for the win.
Oh, who said I was gonna lose? I ain't gonna roll over.
That'd be funny. That'd be hilarious. But anyways, he gets in the Alistair Overeem is the former Strike Force heavyweight champion, and I actually was rooting for Alistair Overeem because I like him. He's a humble guy. He's cool. He's a big guy. He's a monster. I've seen him fight many times. He's a beast, and he actually looked good coming into that fight. He was trimmed. He was cut. He's once again he's 240 something pounds. He's a big man, but he looked trimmed, he looked fit, he looked ready, and Francis Ngannou knocked him out in the first round. I mean, it was the most. Now that was the most vicious uppercut I think I've ever seen in UFC. That uppercut was one of those uppercuts that I was telling my buddies as we was watching it. I said that was like the type of uppercut that somebody would miss, and you'd be like, "Ooh, if that uppercut landed, that would have been a nasty uppercut." But this uppercut landed. I mean, it was a winging uppercut, and Alistair Overeem was. I think they said like 2 minutes after the fight was over, he still was stiff as a board, toes curled, everything stiff on the ground. So Francis Ngannou moves on. He's still undefeated in the UFC.
Yo,
Um,
is it just
what's up,
me, or does Thug Rose look so hot over the past few weeks?
Thug Rose? I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm gonna get the Thug Rose. Hold that thought. Um, anyways, he just won himself a title shot against the champion Stipe Miocic, and that is going to be a super nasty fight. That fight is not going to make it out of the first couple minutes. It's heavyweight fights usually don't last a long time, and that fight in particular is not gonna last past the first round. All right, now Thug Rose. What about Thug Rose, man? What you talking about Thug Rose about, man? Hello,
I was saying, is it just me, or does she just look so hot over the past few weeks?
man. I told you weeks ago Thug Rose was hot. I told you weeks ago she was hot.
Man, you were the one that was doubting her victory when I was telling you she was gonna knock her out. Go back, watch the video. I said it.
You said it, but the only reason, but let me
The
clarify
only,
once. I think this is the second time that I'm having to clarify. This is the thing. I said I would not be surprised
it don't
if
matter. You didn't say.
I wouldn't have been surprised if Jessica Andrade would have beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You know what I'm saying? Because these girls are talented girls, and I knew Thug Rose was gonna be nothing short of
Yeah,
ready.
but that was the most under. She was the biggest underdog probably in the past few
She
years, bro.
was. She was probably the biggest underdog that ever fought
But
against.
regardless of that, moving on. What do you think of what do you think of Max Holloway and Jose Aldo?
I knew going into this fight. I knew going into that fight that Jose Aldo hadn't figured out Max Holloway. Max Holloway he's a different style of fight. He's a different type of fighter. He's like a he's like a Robbie Lawler of the featherweight division. I mean, Max Holloway, he's tall, he's very thin, he's tall, he's long, and he hits hard. And from watching that last fight against him and Jose Aldo, this one looked exactly like that fight. It looked exactly like that fight. They danced around each other the first round, traded a few licks. Jose Aldo came up on him on the second round. You know what I'm saying? Had some success in the second round, but the third, man, it was terrible. I mean, Max Holloway is not giving away that belt, man. He's keeping that belt. He's not getting rid of it at all.
All right, I
So
can kind of agree and disagree with you. I think in terms of fighting, I think Jose Aldo was a better fighter in that fight
what?
because I mean I know he lost. He was. I mean I'm surprised it went to the third round to be honest. But uh, Jose Aldo was more accurate. He wasn't as he wasn't as assertive, I guess is the word. Because from what I
Like punch?
remember,
He was like punch shy.
almost well, I wouldn't say he was shy. I think he was just more smart. Like he was just he's too. I don't know. I don't think it was just this fight. Even like after the Connor knockout, it changed his style. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
not as
Not as
confident,
aggressive.
confident, I guess, or
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. I guess the right word would be confident. Because he used to just go into the ring and own it, and everybody, would just bow to him. And even in this fight, like he didn't throw as much, but he was still accurate. And
He
then
was a little more. Yeah, he was
Max,
definitely a little more accurate
Max,
than Max.
Max was throwing a lot, and when he would connect it, Jose would feel it. And honestly, Jose, he's getting to the back end. Man,
Oh yeah, yeah,
he's on the back end of his career. He had a great career, and I'm surprised it went to the third round. I think it was the end of the
yeah.
third round, wasn't it? It was almost third
It
round was
was
almost
getting
over.
close to the end.
Yeah,
And it was a great. I mean, it was a great fight. And I'm not taking anything away from Jose Aldo. He had his success in this fight. He had his success, and his success looked very well. I mean, he landed some shots on Max Holloway. If you looked at Max Holloway's face at the post fight interview, the post fight press conference, he had some bumps and bruises on his face, but he did do well. They both did well. It turned quickly into a slugfest. So that was like I was a little surprised, but then again, I'm surprised that Jose Aldo engaged in a slugfest versus I'm not surprised that Max Holloway initiated a slugfest because Max Holloway he loves to stand and trade. And the thing that happened with he loves to bang it out. I mean, no technique or nothing. If he feels it's on the wire, he's ready to bang it out. But the thing with Jose Aldo in the first fight was that Jose Aldo gassed. He gassed in the first fight, and that's what made him lose, not get the title. And Max Holloway's cardio is on point. But the thing is, he didn't gas in this fight. His cardio looked great, even though Max Holloway was trying to say his cardio was done after the first round. I think his cardio looked great. It's just he took too much damage too quickly. Because when Max was landing those punches, you know what I'm saying? Like I think Max punches were a little more had a little bit more behind them than Jose Aldo's did because I mean Max had more reason to keep the belt. He had the
yeah,
belt.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think he had a little bit more meaning behind um, his punches. But overall, it was a fantastic fight.
Did that
Max Holloway. Go ahead.
did they get fight of the night?
I
Who
don't
got
think
fight
they
of the
got
night?
fired. I don't think they got fired. I have to go back and look. I think Francis Ngannou got fired of the night, if I'm not mistaken, with that superb knockout on Alistair Overeem. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. I'll cover that next or cover that tomorrow night. See who got fight of the night bonus that night. But it was a good fight, guys. It was a good card. It was great. It was great. But I also want to
Actually,
touch on. Go ahead.
actually, Eddie Alvarez got fight of the night.
Was it Alvarez and Gaethje?
Yeah, they got fight of the night.
Now that right there was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Justin Gaethje, yeah, Justin Gaethje and
I'm glad you said his name because I
Eddie
wouldn't know how the hell to say it.
Justin Gaethje and Eddie Alvarez were the coaches this season on the Ultimate Fighter, and usually at the end of the season, the coaches fight. And so they get in the Justin Gaethje's undefeated. He gets in there with Eddie Alvarez. He's a slugger too. See, and that's what I don't understand about Eddie Alvarez. How come we didn't see this Eddie Alvarez when he fought Conor McGregor? If this Eddie Alvarez is coming off of the Conor loss, he lost the belt. He had the no contest fight. I forgot who he was fighting last fight, but he had the no contest. So he kind of hadn't won anything since he lost to Conor. Um, so I think he was maybe an underdog in that fight.
You know what?
Because Justin
Reading,
Gaethje
go ahead.
like I said, he's undefeated, fantastic fighter. I've seen him fight once before. He only had one other fight in the UFC, and it was a knockout, first round knockout. So, big ups to Justin Gaethje. He put up a fight, but Eddie Alvarez is trying to make his way back to the belt. I mean, Conor took his belt. Eddie Alvarez he has a boxing background. He's a much more well-rounded fighter than Conor McGregor, and he could have done more with his striking against Conor McGregor than what he did. He didn't really do much against Conor. I think Conor kind of got in his head a little bit, and he was a little. I think he
Connor
fought
gets in a
scared.
lot of people's heads,
He does. He gets in a lot of people's heads,
but
but I think kind of had him shook a little bit.
the note on that fight again, that was another instance where the fighter that wasn't as good of a fighter won the bout. In terms of that fight, because I'm looking at the card here, and Eddie Alvarez was not as accurate, and he threw way more punches than
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's true.
Gaethje.
Very true.
So the same as
And
the
then also,
same as the
go
Max
ahead.
Holloway fight. It was a lot of being either more in control or just taking more shots. Maybe Justin
Right.
game plan wasn't what it should have been. You know what I mean? Like the game plan up to the fight, where they weren't expecting Eddie to be as uh, focused or
Eddie was
as
very aggressive in this fight.
yeah
He
as
was very
aggressive.
aggressive, which surprised me. Pressure fight, and that kind of surprised me because when he fought Connor, he
When he
didn't
fought
he
Connor,
didn't
he
do
wasn't
that.
anything. Yeah, he wasn't doing
He
he
didn't
wasn't
do
doing it.
anything when
And
he
he
fought
like
Connor.
okay, he started doing it, but it was way too late.
It was
Connor
too
had
late.
already
Yeah,
hit him too many
he had
times.
already, yeah, he had already
At that
taken
point,
too
he was
much
just
damage
fighting
by the time.
scared.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I just think um, he had already mentally lost the fight, but he got beat up pretty bad in this Justin Gaethje fight. I must say, he got beat up pretty bad. Justin Gaethje definitely put a hurting on him. So he 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 felt Justin Gaethje. So I give Justin Gaethje that. It was a great fight, and if they won fight of the night, they definitely deserve fight of the night. But when Eddie Alvarez fought when he fought Dustin Poirier, that's when he got the no contest for the illegal knees. Um, he was kind of fighting like he fought Connor, kind of timid, kind of scared. When he fought Rafael dos Anjos for the title. I mean, I think that was the best Eddie Alvarez that I've seen. I really do think that was the best out when he won the title. That was his best fight, and then he went in that horrible fight with Conor McGregor. It was awful. But speaking of Conor McGregor, there's been some reports out. Okay, obviously Conor McGregor got in some bar fight with some dude in Dublin, Ireland, who with the mob, with the mafia over there. So
Yeah, it was
there's
Floyd Mayweather's dad.
was not. Stop it. You caught me off guard with that one,
Nah.
man. I was like, wait a minute. Floyd's dad?
No,
No, it wasn't Floyd's
I was
dad.
just kidding. It wasn't Floyd's
Don't
dad.
don't listen to Rob, y'all. Anyways, he beat up some dude in the bar, and apparently the mafia sent him death threats and all kind of stuff, and he fled the country. And now they're saying, um, you know, of course Dana White's got Connor's back because that's his money pocket, but um, apparently they're saying that Connor may never fight again.
Yeah, I
He
wouldn't
may
doubt
never
it.
he may never step into the octagon again. And if he doesn't, it really doesn't bother me. Man. I mean, I could give two shits about what Connor does. I'm not really a Connor fan. Like I said many times before, Connor beat people he shouldn't beat. He shouldn't have beat. You know what I'm saying? Like he shouldn't have beat Jose Aldo. He shouldn't have beat Eddie Alvarez. It just is what it is. And he shouldn't have beaten. He shouldn't. They shouldn't have gave him that win against Nate Diaz a second time. I mean, that was just bullshit. Excuse my language. But I forgot where I was going with that. Yep, just live video. That's the thing about being live. I know what I was saying. Uh, I'd rather see. I'd rather see. I'd like to see Eddie versus Connor again, but they're saying Connor's not gonna fight anymore, man. But I don't want to see him go to the. I don't. I hope he's not gonna try to start a boxing career. Please tell me he's not gonna try to start a boxing career. Because now you got what's the Hispanic boxer name? Oscar De La Hoya. It's calling out Conor McGregor now. I mean, come on, Oscar De La Hoya.
What about him?
He's calling out Conor McGregor. I mean,
Why?
why? Exactly. That's a good question. Why?
Wait, where did you read that? I never read that. What are you talking about? Oscar
Yeah,
De La Hoya is a retired boxer.
he said he'd come out of retirement to fight Conor McGregor.
Where'd you read that?
Oh, it's out there, buddy. Social media. They put it on his social media. He's not scared. Go check him out. Check out his Twitter. He said he would come out
Oh,
of
that's
retirement
it
to
was
fight.
probably just a joke.
It probably
If
was a
he
joke, but
posted on his Twitter, that don't mean nothing.
true. But I hope they don't try.
Donald
Hey,
Trump posts on Twitter. You think Twitter means anything? No,
it don't mean nothing. But
Twitter don't mean shit.
it also the McGregor Mayweather started on Twitter too.
No, the that started when somebody asked interviewed McGregor and he said Floyd's name. And
Social
then Floyd
media
came
thing.
back saying something about elephants and ants and whatnot. I don't remember.
Well, we all know who was right about that. But anyways, we got some interesting stuff coming up, guys. We got I want to talk about. This is my last topic. This is just I just wanted to say this and get Rob's opinion on this. What about what do you okay, we got Home versus Cyborg up next. First, we have Holly Holm, former bantamweight champion and 13-time world champion boxer, who's lost 3 out of her 4 fights. We have Holly Holm fighting the undefeated Chris Cyborg for the featherweight title. So I don't know if y'all have seen Holly lately, but Holly is jacked. Like I don't think
Doesn't
she's
matter.
doing steroids. I don't think she's doing
Doesn't
steroids
matter.
or anything.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think she's on steroids or anything,
She
but
better get on.
because she's
She
been
better get on
tested,
steroids. She need to
tested.
take something. She gonna need some of that spinach from Popeye's TV show.
You ain't giving Holly a fighter's
She ain't gonna.
chance.
She nope. She ain't gonna do nothing. Holly gonna be well. No, she gets a fighter chance, but not. She ain't gonna do not in the cyborg.
I would say, I would say that out of anybody that is active in the UFC right now, um, because the only person that I really, in my heart, really do think is the best person to beat Chris Cyborg, I believe, and you can't really say I've said it before about true featherweights and non-true featherweights. Um, and you can't really say that about Holly Holm because 135 was actually a little too small for Holly Holm. Bantamweight was actually a little too small for Holly. Holly has fought in boxing. She's fought at 155 and 165 in boxing. So Holly can definitely manipulate her weight. She's more comfortable at the heavier weights. So I would say even though we've seen Holly fight first in bantamweight, I wouldn't say Holly was a true bantamweight. I have to take that back. You know, I said earlier that she shouldn't be fighting at featherweight. You know that her and Jermaine were two bantamweights fighting for featherweight, but Holly is actually more comfortable and more suited for her build. Holly's a big girl. People seem to forget that Holly's a big girl. You know, Holly, she 145 will probably be a little bit more comfortable. She'll probably walk in the cage at 155, 160. Cyborg will
Yeah,
probably
but
walk
she's
in.
not much bigger than Cyborg.
No, she's not much bigger than Cyborg at all, but she's still a big girl. See, Tanya Evinger and Lena Landsberg, those girls, Leslie Smith, those girls were a lot smaller than Chris Cyborg. Even Gina Carano, they were a little smaller. They were a lot smaller than Chris Cyborg. But the only person, the point I was getting to is the only person that I think that could really take Cyborg is Megan Anderson. And I keep saying this because I'm hoping that Megan comes out of, I mean, Megan's on this hiatus right now. I really am waiting for the moment when a fight is announced with Megan Anderson. I mean, I'm ready to see that. You know, I mean, like everybody's ready to see Cyborg versus Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson is the top featherweight other than Chris Cyborg. She is the top featherweight in the world other than Chris Cyborg. You know, so she's like the second best true featherweight in mixed martial arts. So that's why everybody's, you know, we seen Megan Anderson and Invicta come from here and go all the way up. She beat Charmaine Tweet. She did lose to Cindy Dandua. Um, and she beat all those girls in Invicta, and that's the everybody's kind of waiting to see Megan versus Cyborg, and I even said that I would like to have seen Megan versus I would have loved to seen that, but that probably wasn't going to happen. But my
Here, I'm gonna
prediction,
go ahead.
what were you saying?
You said, go ahead. What's your prediction?
If I had to choose between, I mean, like I said, I've been preaching to y'all that styles make matchups. And
Get to
shout
your
out to pro.
prediction, bro.
I got to give you my reasoning. Styles make matchups. If I had to predict a winner by head kick in the third round, Holly Holm.
Nope, wrong.
I know I don't have. I wouldn't gamble. I wouldn't gamble it,
Of
but
course you would. Of
no, I wouldn't gamble it. Fuck no.
course you would.
But Holly is known for stopping people.
I would. I would.
She
I
stop,
don't know why.
and of course you would. But also, the thing is, you cannot when Holly's in these big fights, you can't always bet against Holly because the last big fight, like big fight was Ronda Rousey. The Misha fight wasn't really
Yeah.
that. I mean, the
Yeah,
Misha
but
fight was
Holly Holm was
big,
undefeated.
defeated.
Holly Holm was
But this is
undefeated when she fought Ronda Rousey.
yes, she was
How many wins has she had since then?
one,
One. How many losses?
three,
Okay.
but one. I mean, come. I mean, really, but one fight shouldn't have been a loss. I mean, she should have won the Jermaine Durandame fight. She should
Here you go.
be
I'm gonna throw you some numbers at you, and this is gonna really change your mind. Cyborg versus Holly Holmes. Okay. Punches landed per minute. 8 for Cyborg. 3 for Holly Holm.
okay.
Accuracy. 52% for Cyborg. 31% for Holly Holm. Punches absorbed
Okay.
per minute. 1.9 for Cyborg and 2.7 for Holly Holm.
Okay. So what does that mean?
That means that Cyborg's accuracy is close to double what Holly Holmes is. She
Okay. Well,
throws and lands a lot more than she throws
I'm
and
a
lands a lot more, over double what Holly Holm does.
okay.
And her defense is so good that she absorbs and doesn't get hit half as much as Holly Holm does.
That's because she
And
beats. That's because she beats the
and
shit out
her
of everybody she's
defense
fighting.
and her defensive percentage is 64% versus Holly Holm's 61%. And then in terms of grappling, Cyborg is at a solid 1 average takedown per match. Holly Holmes is barely at 1/4. And then Cyborg's takedown accuracy is a 58%, while Holly Holmes is less than 20%. And then the takedowns defensed for Cyborg, defended takedown, is at 95%. Holly Holmes is at 77. And then submission average is at about 0.5, while Holly Holm has no submissions.
Neither one of them are submission artists. But I'm about to debunk everything you said with this next statement I'm saying. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna debunk all of that shit you was just saying.
No, you're
And
not.
I'm gonna tell you why Holly Holm is gonna win this fight.
Why? Because she
Think
beat Ronda?
about no, think about this. Think about who Holly has fought since she fought Ronda. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why her accuracy and her punches landed is so much different. Y'all stay with me in this live chat because I'm about to break this shit down.
You about to
Okay,
break nothing
I'm
down.
about to break this shit down for Rob. I'm about to throw
Yeah,
some
nope.
MMA at y'all
Nope.
ass.
You ain't gonna do nothing that's gonna surprise
Okay, so check this out. After she fought Ronda, she beat the shit out of Ronda. So after she
me. Yep.
got done with Ronda,
That
she
was
steps
expected.
she steps into the cage with Misha Tate.
It was
Okay,
expected.
Misha Tate is so quick. Misha Tate may not be the best striker, but Misha Tate is very elusive. She was very elusive. Misha Tate fought like I never seen her fight before in this fight with Holly Holm. Never seen her fight like this. She was so elusive in that fight, and she
I still think
dodged.
that was I still think that was a little bit set up for Tate
No,
to
absolutely
get the
not.
belt.
No, no,
I think it was set
no.
up for Tate to get the belt because Tate could never beat Ronda Rousey.
I don't think so. I don't think so
It was set up,
because
bro.
no, what it
It
no,
was set up,
no, no,
bro.
no,
They set that up just so Tate
no.
could get the belt.
Misha Tate fought hard to stay at the top of that bantamweight division to
Uh,
get that. They passed up on Misha Tate. Rousey fight Holly Holm for the belt. Misha Tate was supposed to get that title shot, and she didn't. And they did not think that Holly was going to beat Ronda, and it was supposed to have been set. It was actually being set up for a Misha Tate Ronda Rousey trilogy fight. That's what the setup really was because everybody expected Ronda Rousey to beat Holly Holm. I mean, everybody expected Ronda to beat Holly, and it didn't happen. But anyway,
okay.
back to my point. Stop. No, go ahead. No, I want to hear this. Go ahead, Rob.
Who of all the people that Holly Holm has fought is most like Misha Tate, including Cyborg?
Uh, Probably Ronda Rousey.
No, not after she got the belt. After she won that
Nobody.
fight. Of the three
Nobody.
losses, you don't think Chris Cyborg is a little bit like Misha Tate?
No, not in any way possible. No. Let me get to my point, and I'm breaking this shit. I'm breaking this down for you, Rob. I'm breaking this down for you. Okay. But now, mind you, Misha Tate is not a striker. Her stand up is not that good. Cyborg's stand up is impeccable. I don't, and I really don't think her stand up is that good. She just hits so hard that when she catches you, it's over. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Getting back to who Holly has fought, she couldn't land that many punches on Misha Tate. She landed punches, but they weren't devastating punches. Like she couldn't land those devastating punches that she landed on Ronda Rousey against Misha Tate. Misha was just too quick. Then she goes on to fight Valentina Shevchenko, which was a big mistake in Holly Holm's book. Okay, that was the biggest mistake. That was the worst matchup they could have gave Holly Holm was against the best counter striker in women's MMA, period. The best counter striker in women's MMA, period, is Valentina Shevchenko. As a matter of fact, Valentina Shevchenko is the best striker in women's MMA, period, in my opinion. She is the best striker. Her striking is so elite. That's why I don't understand why they gave that fight to Amanda Nunes. But anyways, she fought Valentina Shevchenko. Um, I think ever since she had fought Misha, she started throwing her punches very short because she was scared of a takedown. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't commit to her punches like that when she and everyone that she fought after Misha Tate. Misha, her losing by submission and being choked out like that kind of fucked her brain up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, okay, I can't be beating these girls' ass like I beat Ronda Rousey's ass because some of these girls can take me down, and I know my ground game is garbage. Holly Holm knows her ground game is fucking garbage. Okay, so she goes on and she loses. She loses very obviously to Valentina Shevchenko. She barely hit Valentina. I mean, it was ridiculous. Then she gets a title shot, moves up in weight to fight the one of the best Muay Thai fighters in the UFC, Jermaine Durandame. Okay, she does this. I honestly, I think she won that fight because I think she won the fight against Jermaine Durandame, but they gave it to Jermaine because the judges went off of they used octagon control, and that all that stuff scores you points. Aggression, octagon control, all that scores you points. So I think that is what scored. That is what, because I think Holly tried to play a counter striking game against Jermaine Durandame and failed miserably. Then she goes on to fight Betch Correia, which that fight ended fairly early because she kicked her and knocked her out. So that was a she didn't really get a chance to really throw any strikes in the fight with Betch Correia. She threw some, she landed some, but the head kick is what knocked out Betch. So um, she hasn't really been in she hasn't really her game plan hasn't really worked in her last few fights. So that's probably why her stats look so bad. You know what I'm saying? But the difference with Cyborg is not as fast as Misha Tate as far as movement, getting out of the way of those punches. You know what I'm saying? She's not as fast as Misha. She's definitely not as fast as Valentina Shevchenko. And I don't even count and then she's probably on the same level as Jermaine Durandame as far as striking, the level of striking. Um, and if
You
Cyborg
are really
fights,
not giving Cyborg that much.
I'm giving Cyborg. I mean, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
You putting her
Um,
on levels that shouldn't even be putting.
no, no, I'm telling you, man. Jermaine Durand, if Jermaine Durandame fought Chris Cyborg, which she was supposed to because she was the champion, that fight would. I don't know how that fight will go.
Cyborg will win.
Nobody knows how that fight will go because Jermaine Durandame is that good. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Cyborg is going to have to find out how to not get devastatingly hit by uh, Holly Holm. She has to avoid Holly Holm's kicks because Holly Holm can hide her kicks behind her punches. That's one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people do. A lot of women do is hide kicks behind punches, and Holly does it to perfection. So, I mean, of course,
You want to know
in the
why
coming in,
Cyborg is going to win?
win.
Two reasons. Well, actually, there's three reasons, but the other one is so obvious. Cyborg's skill.
Go
Two
ahead.
main two main reasons. Misha Tate knew all of Holly Holm's strengths based on the Ronda Rousey fight. She knew what to do. She knew what not to do. She knew when not to get hit. She knew what to avoid, and she ended up winning. Winning
Yep.
by submission at that fact. And then what
Yes.
happened? Everybody else read that same pattern. The one thing Holly Holm does the best is stay consistent. Very little change in what she does. Very little change. She does.
Very little change. Okay.
You even said it yourself that she knows her ground game is trash, so she strikes. She is very non-adaptive. One of the best adaptive fighters is Chris Cyborg. Holly Holm has lost 3 out of her last 4 fights. Chris Cyborg is obviously going to see that. Obviously going to see that. That's why Chris Cyborg has been at the top for the longest so far. Because she is adaptive. She's going to see what people did to beat her. She's going to see especially what Holly Holm did to win her last fight. She's going to
Okay.
know what to avoid, bro. She's going to know what to avoid. She's going to know her weaknesses. She's going to see the openings, and she's going to take advantage of them. Fast or not, doesn't matter. Holly Holm is not adaptive. Chris Cyborg is. That's why
Okay.
Chris Cyborg is going to win.
Okay. Okay. So to come back with what you just said, um, just to come back with that, Tanya Evinger, in a way, and I said this. Go back and look at our shows, guys. I mean, I remember what we say. You know, I said that if Tanya Evinger, in a way, exposed Chris Cyborg. The thing is, no one has ever. Cyborg tried to change up her game a little bit against Tanya Evinger because she knew that if Tanya Evinger got her down to the ground, there's a very, very high chance. The Cyborg's ground game is garbage too. Don't get it twisted. Cyborg's not going to want to go to the ground much either. She knew that if Tanya Evinger got her to the ground, that there's a chance she may lose the fight.
Okay,
So, wait,
real
let me
quick.
finish. Let me finish.
But
Let me.
just want to
Okay,
note.
go
I
ahead.
just want to note something on that. To expose somebody, to really expose somebody, you have to win. Tanya Evinger did.
Not
Yeah, you
necessarily.
did.
Not necessarily.
In this
No.
case, you do, because Holly Holm has lost. Misha Tate showed that. Everybody, she shocked the whole world when she destroyed Ronda Rousey. Because Ronda Rousey didn't know what to expect. Nobody was looking at Holly Holm. Nobody. Nobody was looking at her tapes. Nobody was seeing how she fought. Everybody saw her 11-0, her 10-0, whatever she was at that time. And then they just saw that figure. Oh, it doesn't matter. They looked over at Ronda Rousey. She was undefeated. She was everything. Everybody was talking about her. She was dominating everybody. Bam. She gets her ass kicked. Misha Tate didn't make that mistake. Misha Tate saw how she beat Ronda Rousey because everybody saw how she beat Ronda Rousey. Went in there and exposed all of Holly Holm's weaknesses and beat her. Who'd the next person do? Exposed all of Holly Holm's weaknesses, beat her. What the next person do? So exposed all of Holly Holm's weaknesses and beat her.
Okay,
Holly Holm doesn't change.
which is true. That Holly Holm, her fight IQ could be a little bit better. I do agree. So I do agree with you. But the point the point I'm trying to make is Chris Cyborg is not going to be able to run through Holly Holm like she's ran through these other girls. Holly Holm is not somebody that can be put away. Like you, if you're gonna put somebody like Holly away, you're gonna have to choke her out, just like what Misha done. You're not gonna knock Holly Holm out. You know, the thing, and that's the thing is what I'm trying to say is, if the way Tanya Evinger exposed her was that if you wait on Cyborg, if you have good movement against Cyborg, you bait her into you can have success. Tanya landed punches. Tanya had the takedown. You can have success against Cyborg if you don't leave yourself open to get cracked by that right hand. You know what I'm saying? Lena Landsberg left herself open to get cracked. She tried to tie Cyborg up in the clinch, and that was the biggest mistake she made. Um, Also, Leslie Smith um kind of thought she was going to stand and trade with Cyborg. Same thing Charmaine Tweet did. Charmaine thought she was going to stand and trade with Cyborg. That's not happening. If these girl, if Holly Holm she has really good movement, and we've seen that in the Ronda fight. We saw that in the Misha fight. We've seen that in all her fights, the Rocky Pennington fight, all of them. We've seen it. You know, um, if Holm can utilize her good movement and don't let Cyborg corner her, then she has a chance. If she can use the push kick, she has to keep the distance between her and Cyborg. She has to keep it at fighting range, at her range. Because if you keep it here, if Holly Holm can keep it here, then she can land devastating punches against Cyborg. If she gets here, that's the problem zone when you're in the cage with Cyborg. It's here.
So
You're good. Tanya
you
Evans just
think
stayed here.
what's that girl's name? Forget her name. Uh,
Listen,
hold on, I'll pull it up. Jermaine de Randame.
Jermaine Durandame.
You think she would beat Cyborg, right?
One more time.
Huh?
What did you say?
I said you think she would beat Cyborg?
Um, if it would be a really good fight if Jermaine Durandame, because Jermaine's stand up is when she fought Amanda Nunes, she was beating Amanda Nunes' ass until Amanda took her down. She took her down. Amanda took her down and finished the fight. That's what I'm saying. These Muay Thai fighters, they have issues on their back. When
Okay,
they're
but
on their
you
back,
think she would beat Cyborg?
be surprised if Jermaine Durandame beat Cyborg. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
So why did she beat Holly Holm?
That was a weird decision. That was a weird decision fight.
It was
That
a
was weird.
it was a one by what? What was the main factor?
That made it weird, or that she won.
The main factor of that fight was Jermaine controlled the octagon.
She did,
So who's
and
to
I think
say that Holly Holm doesn't have that gene of control? All those losses, maybe she lost it.
but this is it for Holly. This is it. This is it for Holly.
Exactly.
Like
So
Holly's 36 years. She's 36 years old. This is it for Holly. If Holly loses this fight,
you mean when Holly
yes.
loses this fight?
Dude. Like I said, man, I don't. It's a toss up. But if I had to really, and I'm not picking Holly because I like to pick the underdog. I just know, I just
Yeah,
see how Holly, I just see how, shut up, Rob. I just see how Holly fights,
I mean,
and I just see what Holly.
if we want to get really into it, we can look at the board and see who's got more right, who's got more correct choices versus the other guy between you and me. I don't mean
What you
I
mean? Are you talking about the live chat?
talk about you and me and our
Oh,
predictions.
oh yeah, oh yeah. You know what? when you have outdone me in predictions with these fights, I must say. But I'm telling you,
I'm telling you, bro, you are thinking on the wrong side of this. I can see where you're coming from. I can see it because you're used to that. You're used to that niche, that that sense of direction into choosing what you do. But you have to think of it outside of that. You have to step out of that and think about all the other things. You have to factor in the losses. You have to factor in what's going on in their life. You have to factor in, oh, she debated for so long not taking this fight because of money, of all things money, which means she's not really into the fight. She's more into the money than she is into the fight. She's not worried about really winning. She just wants to get paid. And then she's coming off of a win after three losses that came off of dominating. She was dominating. She was 11-0. She was the champion. She just beat Ronda Rousey. Her style was just untouchable. And then Misha Tate gone. And then another loss. And then another loss. And then maybe
and
she
then another
changed her.
loss.
And then she changed up her game plan a little bit. And then she came back and won. But like you said, it was a fast fight. She didn't get to really do anything. So maybe she didn't change up her style. She just was, what's her name? Korea or dang, what was her
Betchko
name?
here.
Yeah, maybe she made a mistake and left an opening, and Holly Holm got
Betchko here
lucky.
is garbage.
Well,
Betchko
regardless,
here got knocked out by Ronda Rousey. She got
re-
knocked. She let Ronda
it
Rousey knock
doesn't
her out.
matter. Regardless of that, like it doesn't matter if it's a shitty person or a really good fighter. Maybe Holly Holm is just done. I mean, think about
And
it.
and
Think
that's
about
that's
it.
that's
Why is she? Why the debate? If she really wanted to win, she really wanted the belt. Why wait for the money? If you
that's her.
want to be the
They were
best,
gonna pay. They were gonna pay her less money than what they paid her
it
to
doesn't
fight Misha.
matter. Doesn't matter. If you want to be the champion, you will fight. Period. If you
That's
want to
yes, I
fight,
agree.
you will fight. If you know you can win, you will fight. You don't wait for money. You don't wait for somebody to open doors. You don't wait for the opportunity. You make it and you take it. She's not into it anymore because she knows that her style is not as dominant as it once was, regardless of who she fights. She's taken too many L's with the same style. And she can't
I
change
mean,
because,
yes,
like you
she
said,
has.
she's
She has.
36 years old. You can't change after being in the fight game that long.
I understand. I understand. Well,
See now, and you
you
clearly
better
don't
step it up.
understand because I'm giving you all these
You
facts
better.
and all these
I
all
agree with
these
you.
awesome things, and you're still stuck in that thing where you think she's gonna
No,
be
no, no, no,
Chris
no.
Cyborg of all
I
people.
agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you, and I understand where you're coming from too. And this is the bottom line. And then we're going to move on. This is the bottom line. Holly has to fight a smart fight to beat Cyborg. And if she fights a smart fight, she can pull it off. Otherwise, she's gonna end up on the she's gonna be another name on the notch for Chris Cyborg.
this is
The
how much
last person.
chance. This is how much of a chance Holly Holm has. Sh Cyborg will have to have one of her three worst fighting nights in order for Holly Holm to win.
We shall see.
She will have to
Y'all, we will
catch
be. Y'all make sure
Cyborg
y'all.
on her worst night.
Y'all make sure y'all check in with us the week after December 31st, because the Tuesday after that, we will be back and we will be talking about this
Yeah, we
just
will
like we
be.
talked
We're
about the
gonna be
Rose.
talking about it just like this, and we're gonna be the same thing as the last time we had this big debate about Thug Rose, and I'm gonna come on the show and I'm gonna tell you I told you so
Okay.
again.
And I'm gonna be and you know I'm gonna rub it in good when they say
Yeah,
and
you
new.
you finally, whenever that day comes, that you were right.
Okay.
Finally, you're
Okay.
gonna rub it in, and I'll give it to you. Because regardless, I think I'm like 4-0 right now.
Yeah. Anyways, um on to my last topic, guys. I thought that was my last topic, but the live chat is telling me otherwise. I've been talking with a couple of my couple MMA guys at work, and I understand. Okay, this is Stephen Thompson. If you ever watch this video, a buddy of mine wants he wants me to talk about. He loves Stephen Thompson. He knows Stephen Thompson. His kids go there. He loves Stephen Thompson, and me and him go back and forth with this all the time. Okay, he's trying to. As a person, I like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I really, really do. No, I mean I have no disrespect for him. He's a great fighter, but when you talking about Tyron Woodley, I mean, come on, man. I mean, this guy's telling me that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a better fighter than Tyron Woodley. And the point, and I'm not saying that he's not. Okay, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying Stephen Thompson is gonna have to step up his competition if he wants to beat somebody like Tyron Woodley. I mean, he had two chances to fight Tyron Woodley, and as long as Tyron Woodley is the champion, I doubt that we'll see a Tyron Woodley Stephen Thompson 3, because once you've had two chances to fight the champion, you're gonna have to fight a few people to get back up there. Which brings me to my next point. I'm gonna name just the top 10 guys and the current guys in the welterweight division. Champion Tyron Woodley. Number one, Stephen Thompson. Number two, Robbie Lawler. Number three, Damian Maya. Number four, Kobe Covington. Number five, Rafael dos Anjos. Number six, Roy McDonald. Number seven is Jorge Masvidal, who um, Stephen Thompson he did just beat. Number eight, number nine, Darren Till. Number 10, Neil Magny. Okay, so Stephen Thompson is going to have no choice but to fight some of these guys to get back up to the title shot. He's going to have to fight a few of these guys to get back up to got rocked. Anyways,
I don't think
Jorge Masvidal did.
I don't think that I don't I wouldn't say that he's too far off of Woodley's skills.
I have to agree with Brian when he says that in our live chat when he says that that Stephen Thompson is a smarter fighter. I do agree. I think that Tyron Woodley messes up a lot. Um, Backs himself up against the cage. He's done that in about 10 times. He's done it 9 out of 10 times. He backs himself up to the cage and then fires. He fires off the cage, and that's where he gets all that power in his right hand. Back to Stephen Thompson. I mean, yeah, Stephen Thompson beat Jorge Masvidal. That fight could have went either way. I mean, I knew that when that matchup happened, I knew that it wasn't going to be a very even fight. I knew it was going to be a very one-sided fight, and it was very one-sided. Stephen Thompson with his point karate style, um, that way he put on a clinic against Jorge Masvidal. It was great. I mean, it was the best I ever seen him. I agree, Brian. I would love to see a Tyron Woodley Stephen Thompson 3, but we're probably a long road from that. Either Tyron would have to lose the belt, or everybody wouldn't be available to fight Tyron Woodley. So that's probably the only way we'll see that fight happen again. Uh, I would like to see maybe like a Darren Till versus Stephen Thompson, or maybe like a Rafael dos Anjos versus Stephen Thompson, and maybe even a Damian Maya versus Stephen Thompson. Even though Damian Maya is one of the last jujitsu well, I wouldn't say that now because we got a couple of new flyweight female jujitsu specialists like what's her name, Jillian Robertson, like I mentioned earlier. But one of the last jujitsu UFC, and he's lost his last two fights. And but I think that Damian Maya, his jujitsu is untouched. So I would like to even see him versus Stephen Thompson. That matchup would be great. I think that would be a really good one. Also, Kobe Covington versus Stephen Thompson would be good too. If I'm not mistaken, I think they may have fought before. I may be wrong on that, so don't quote me. But if he get in there with somebody like Robbie Lawler, I mean, I don't know if he can, I don't know if Stephen Thompson could handle somebody like Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler is a brute. You know, he's a tough one of those fighters that he gets in there. He doesn't care how hurt he is. He doesn't care how hurt you are. He's trying to put you away. That's it. He wants to win the fight by however he wins the fight. And that's just the type of fighter that Robbie Lawler is. So that would be a good matchup for Stephen Thompson. Hopefully, we see something like that. I'm ready to see him book his next fight. He didn't really take too much damage in the Jorge Masvidal fight. Yeah, Brian, I agree. Him and Darren Till would really be a good fight because they're similar size, similar stances with the long legs. They both have really good kicks. They're not really. I wouldn't call them. Now I know that Stephen Thompson had the however many knockouts. He was however something in another style of fighting. I forgot what that was, but they have still. They neither one of them. Well, really, Stephen Thompson doesn't have that much power in his hands. Not like Darren Till, but Stephen Thompson's advantage would be the kicks. He lands some pretty hard kicks. Because he's a karate based 57-0 kickboxer. That's what it was. Thank you, Brian. His kicks are devastating. So that could be his advantage against someone like Darren Till versus Darren Till's advantage would definitely be his hands because he's got power in his hands. Exactly what he just did to um, uh, Cowboy Cerrone was just devastating. I mean, he picked him apart. Yeah, Brian, 57-0. Yeah. Brian put the emoji with the hearts over their eyes. That man loves Stephen Thompson. But I would like to see Stephen. We'd really like to see Stephen on Sports Scrutiny one day. But I'd like to see him fight somebody that's gonna give. Because I have to say Tyrone Woodley didn't quite give Stephen Thompson enough. He kind of, I think he kind of caught Stephen when he got those knockdowns with Stephen Thompson. I think he kind of just caught him off guard with his speed. I would like to see Stephen Thompson get into like a grudge match, like a hard fought fight. And I think that probably Darren Till would give him that type of fight. Either him or no, not Robbie Lawler, but him or Rafael dos Anjos will probably give uh, Stephen Thompson that type of grudge match. That's what he needs. Just like the other week we were talking about Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey needs a grudge match. That's what the kind of fight she needs. She needs a dirty Misha Tate style fight, and that's also what Wonder Boy Thompson. He needs a dirty, grungy, bloody fight to get him back to where he needs to be in order to fight somebody like Tyron Woodley again and win the belt or whoever's champion at that time.
I'll fight dirty with Ronda Rousey.
Oh, I'm sure you would. I'd rather fight dirty with Misha Tate.
You'd probably,
She's
yeah,
hotter.
yeah.
Ronda Rousey.
Well,
Just let it be known. Misha Tate's the hotter girl than Ronda Rousey.
both pretty hot. Argue.
Yeah, they're both pretty hot. But yeah, guys, y'all have to stay tuned with us. With all these fights I'm talking about, we'll see what's coming up next for Wonder Boy. Um, Brian
Yeah,
says, "Is there any news on McGregor's next fight?" They're saying McGregor may not get back in the octagon. I know.
yeah. He already had a fight. Like, some thug in the bar. He won
Yeah, he beat up
apparently.
some guy at the bar. Yeah, he beat up the guy at the bar. I know that Tony Ferguson wants to fight him, the interim lightweight champion. Yeah, interim lightweight champion. I know Max Holloway wants to fight him, bringing him back down to featherweight. That would be nice. I know there's always the Nate Diaz fight lingering over.
The only
Um,
reason anybody wants to fight Connor is for money. Nobody
I
wants to
don't
fight
think
Connor
so.
for
I don't think
any other
so.
reason than that.
I don't think so. I don't think Eddie Alvarez wants to fight him for money.
Not Eddie
I think
Alvarez.
I think I think Eddie Alvarez wants to avenge that loss, and Eddie Alvarez wants to get his belt back. So they're gonna have to do something. I mean, if Connor's inactive, they're gonna have to strip him and make Tony Ferguson the champion. I mean, that's the only right way to do it is to. I mean, because he's inactive. When Jermaine Durandame refused to fight Chris Cyborg, what they do? They stripped her of her belt.
Yeah, but Connor hasn't refused any fight.
Me either. So I mean
Yeah,
that
but
kind of goes either way.
that's not on him. That's on Dana White.
Well, if you're the champion, you're supposed to defend. You either defend or you vacate. It's one of the two.
Talk to Dana White.
Well, somebody needs to contact the bald headed devil and tell him, you know, something's got to happen. Right? This division is kind of stalled, waiting on what Conor McGregor's going to do, and I think it's kind of jacked up that you got all these guys, and you got Conor McGregor at the top, and the whole division is kind of on pause because they're waiting on Conor McGregor. I don't think that's the correct way to do it. I think that these guys need to continue on. Dana White either needs to continue on with the division and strip Conor McGregor, make Tony Ferguson the champion because he's the interim champion, and continue on with the division, or Conor McGregor needs to defend. Period. I mean, it is what it is. That's my thoughts, and that's all I got. Three different weight classes. What do you mean three different weight? Has anyone won three belts at the same time? No. Nobody's won two belts at the same time. Connor was the first one to
Yeah, but
just
he
win
doesn't
two.
have
Now
two
there's
belts
been
anymore, so he would have
yeah,
to
he
win
had to
another
relinquish.
belt
He had to,
and then win another belt. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
yeah, been multiple division champions, as in, I was the champion of this division. I lost the belt. Then I went to this division and won the belt. Just like GSP. GSP was the welterweight king. He relinquishes his title, takes a break, and then comes back and wins the
You say take a
middleweight
break.
4 year break.
That
But
ain't no break. That's a retirement.
that's a retirement. But he took a
That's like you
uh
go to work. All right, buddy, I'm taking a break. It's 12 o'clock. You don't come back till next year.
Brian Bob at 145. No, Connor hasn't won those belts, but Connor has fought at all of those weight classes. He's fought at 145. He's fought at 155. He was the champion of those two divisions. The welterweight bout was against Nate Diaz. Um, I wouldn't really consider those welterweights because they never truly made the weight. They both were like 167, 166, 168, something like that. He had two. While he was the featherweight champion, he moved up and fought Eddie Alvarez at lightweight and won that belt. But he relinquished his featherweight belt, and that's why Max Holloway is the new champion of that division. But
That would
Tony
be a good fight.
Ferguson, that would be a good fight. And actually it'd be a rematch. When Connor was fighting at featherweight, him and Max Holloway fought, and he beat Max Holloway. But Max Holloway is not the same Max Holloway that he was when he fought
No,
Conor McGregor.
nobody's the same after they lose.
Um,
I want to
but
see Connor fight Floyd again.
yeah, right. This weekend we've got a fight night coming up. We've got Cub Swanson versus undefeated Brian Ortega. That's going to be good. Um, we're gonna be talking about that next week. Uh, and we're just gonna keep rolling, guys. Don't forget, hey, all you guys watching right now, right below the video, right here is a thumbs up button. Phone upright. Right there is a thumbs up thing. Hit the like button. That's the like button. Hit it. Hit
Punch,
it. Hit it. Hit it.
punch it.
Hit it. Hit it.
Get a hammer and
And
hit it with.
and tomorrow, it was supposed to have been tonight, but we got our days mixed up with Damian Brown. But tomorrow night we will be live with Damian Brown. We're gonna be asking us some questions. If Brian, if you want to learn more about MMA or learn more about what's going on in the UFC, tomorrow will be the time. Questions with Damian Brown. I mean, he's in the UFC. He's had a few fights in the UFC. So we're going to be interviewing him. Hopefully, we can get some more interviews going, guys. We got a couple things in the pipeline. This one just happened to emerge first. 12 hours away. He's 12 hours difference in time, so we got our days mixed up.
Yeah, we
By
we 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 got our days mixed up, so we were gonna, we did all that. That was a miscommunication, but
oh yeah, oh
we
yeah,
got a lot of stuff coming for you guys soon. Just
oh
share the
yeah,
videos, like everything. If you aren't haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification so that
absolutely,
you can see when we come live. And if you aren't following us
absolutely.
on Twitter, shame on you. Sports Scrutiny Live is on Twitter. We haven't set up our Instagram yet, but we will be doing that. The Instagram is
But
basically just gonna
we do
be,
have our Twitter.
yeah, basically our Instagram is just gonna be, um, shots of what's going on that week, in the NBA, hockey, NFL. It's we'll get
Keeping the
around to
news
that.
current. Just keep
But
the news current. Well,
We're on Twitter. We have a Facebook. Go to Facebook, like our page. You're gonna we keep that up to date. We'll let you know from there when we go live. We'll let you know what's going on in the next show.
yeah, guys, our Facebook page is definitely, if you want to keep up with what we're doing and these changes I told you guys about that we're getting ready to be going through, um, keep current on our Facebook page. We'll definitely keep uploading and sharing, letting you guys know what's going on. Also, we keep a pretty good current on our Facebook page, so make sure you check us out. We try to keep the news rolling on our Facebook, the latest stuff that comes out. Also, our Twitter page, Scrutiny, that's us. You can get in contact with us there. I doubt we have any celebrities watching right now, but anyways, um, work heavily on uh, Twitter. There, working pretty good so far. Like I said, we got Damian Brown tomorrow night at 9:30.
Looking forward to that. Come
Looking
back,
forward to
come
that
back,
most
come back,
definitely.
come back, come back. Tell your
And come
friends.
back.
Anybody who's fans of
Making this
Damien,
Heck
tell them to
yeah, man!
come.
Thank you guys for making this live chat amazing, man. And also, um, if you guys haven't watched any, go watch a couple of his fights. So therefore, you would be caught up on what we're talking about tomorrow because this guy's an amazing fighter. Great, especially after that performance at UFC Sydney. That was amazing. So make sure you check. He's a slugger, guys. He's not a nice guy. His nickname is Beatdown. And you best believe it, when you get into the octagon with Damian Brown, expect the beatdown because it's coming. But I'm excited about that, Rob. I'm excited about the new direction we're going in. And we also appreciate all you guys' support.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Make sure
Yeah.
you hit that like button. Comment down below anything that you might you caught us talking about that you would want us to bring up in the uh next week's show. And if you don't want to comment on the video, you can always catch us on Twitter, like I said, and catch us on Facebook, like I said. We read all of them. We read everything everybody tells us. Take note of it. So
Yep.
keep that
That's
in
all
mind.
I got, Rob.
Yeah, that's all we got for today's show, and then we got the interview tomorrow. So everybody that's in here now, and everybody that you know that's a fan of Damien Beatdown, bring them to the live show tomorrow, and we can talk with us with Damien. It's gonna be good.
I'm
Other than
missing you
that,
guys.
other than that, this night is over, and I know you're sad. I know you're sad, but we will be back. We will be back.
I'm a little sad too, man.
You'll get over it. I ain't worried about you.
All right, guys. Thank you. Don't forget, subscribe to the hottest channel for the best news and predictions in today's world of sports. And we are